Hello everybody, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a Dazzled or Disappointed for you, and it's one that I wasn't going to do. It had crossed my mind and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to skip on it. And one of y'all so kindly suggested that I do it because you mentioned there's not a whole lot of reviews on this palette up on YouTube. And so hopefully, if you were wondering if this palette is right for you, then you'll find this review helpful. And it is on the Violet Voss Coral Crush eyeshadow palette. I did pick mine up during the Sephora VIB summer bonus event, and I've been using it. It's so fun for summer, so I really wanted to start putting it to use right away. And I have a ton of thoughts for you, swatches, a demo, all that good stuff, everything you know to be in a Dazzled or Disappointed. So if you're interested in seeing if this baby is right for you, then just keep on watching. Alright you guys, so before I take you into the description on the Sephora website, I will show you the box. This color scheme, this packaging, Violet Voss for packaging can be kind of hit or miss, and you guys know I am sucked in by the packaging always, and so this was perfect. I think the coral, the neon coral with the violet or the purple, it's just so pretty, it's so intriguing, it's so pleasing to the eye. I really love it. The back, just in standard Violet Voss fashion, has the layout of the eyeshadow palette itself, so that is the box. Very, very similar to her other packaging. So let me just go ahead and start taking you into details on the Sephora site. It does retail for $42. I was able to pick mine up with the 20% off, so that was even better. But it's $42. I feel like her eyeshadow palettes are pretty decently priced. They're not outrageous as far as the price goes. It is limited edition, and it says it's a palette with 18 hues of coral and complementing shades in a variety of finishes. It's free of sulfates, SLS and SLES, parabens, and phthalates. It says the Coral Crush palette was designed with all the latest coral hues and allows you to achieve all the coral looks you desire. Escape into paradise with Violet Voss's high pigment, long-lasting pro formulas, from buttery mattes to impactful foils. Create a fresh, wearable glam look or an eye-catching, vivid look, and easily transition from day to night. So that is the details there. So a couple of things. One, it says it's distributed in Orange County, California. I cannot for the life of me find on the box where it is made, but if I'm going to go based off of her prior palettes, they are typically made in PRC. So I'm just going to assume that that is the same thing. Also, this does have a shelf life of 24 months, which I think is awesome because I've said before that I feel like a lot of brands are now kind of extending the shelf life of their products, which is kind of nice. I keep mine well after the shelf life, so just know that. Also, there are a few, I feel like this is pretty standard also, there are a few pans of product in here that are considered more pigments than shadows, and so because of that, they are not recommended as safe for the eye area, and that what that basically means is they haven't really been tested. They haven't been authorized by the, and I forget what the organization is called, one of the federal, regulation places, as safe because they can kind of stain your eye. I have never had a problem with it irritating my eye, causing any kind of, issues. I have experienced staining in the past with pigments, and quite frankly, after a couple of days, it goes away. So for me, it hasn't been an issue. And there is a caution and warning, not label, but notification on the box that says discontinue use if sign of rash or irritation appear. And then I will tell you that Tiger Lily, Coral Crush, Peony, Obsessed, Papaya, and Escape may contain a colorant that is not approved for the eye area in the US, Canada, and Brazil. So the never-ending question is, if it's not eye safe, then why put it in an eyeshadow palette? But at the end of the day, the fact is that we all use it anyways. I will tell you, I think it's Peony is the one I have like on my lower lash line. I have it on the middle portion of my lid. You'll see that in the demo. But just so that you are aware of that, let's go into the palette itself. I love that the palette resembles the exact same thing as the box. I'm going to trash this box then, because sometimes I don't. If I really like the box and it's not the same as what's on the palette, I will hold on to the box. That's just me. Same thing with the scheme, very pretty, and then the layout on the back of the palette, just like the box. And again, even on the palette, it doesn't say where it's made, which I think that's the first time I've come across that, unless I am seriously overlooking it, but I have gone through this about 3 or 4 times. You open it up and you've got the standard mirror on the inside. inside you've got the little palm trees with the same color scheme going on. And then I'm afraid to bend it all the way back. It's been really stiff, and to get it this far I really struggled, so I don't want to break it. So I'm going to take it just like this. So here you've got the eyeshadow pans themselves. Let me bring you in so that you can see what they look like. And there is a whole lot of variety of corals in here, different types of corals, like different hues and shades, and then you've got a few deeper shades. There's just a whole lot going on in here. So in typical fashion, let's go into swatches first, and then I'll take you into the demo, and then finally into final thoughts. So let's start with the swatches now. First four, we've got Pina Colada, Glow Up, Peachy, and Sunshine. For reference, I always do one swipe swatches for pigmentation purposes so that you can see how opaque they are with simply one swatch. And I completely forgot to tell you that there are 18 shades in this palette. 10 of them are matte, and the other 8 are like a metallic, foiled, even sparkly type of finish. So just in case that is of interest for you. You've got Lounging, Papaya, Coral Crush, and Passion. Next up, you have got Craze, Tiger Lily, Peony, and Obsessed. Here we've got Flame, Reef, Shore, and Eternal. And then finally, you have got BFF and Escape. I place them down here. Alright guys, so now that we've gone through all 18 swatches, it's time to go into the demo so that you can see how I did this today. I went a little bit more bright and vivid today than I've been doing the past couple of uses of this palette. So super summer look for the day, and let's get started so that you can take a look on what I used to come up with it. So we're going to start off with the shade Sunshine, and this shade is going to go into our crease just using an average blending brush. And I am actually going to take this into my crease about 3 times just because the level of intensity I wanted was a little deeper. Next, I'm going in with the shade BFF, and I'm going in with my new Huda dual-ended brush. And this is going to go on the outer portion of the lid. We're going to start deepening it up a little. And now it's time to go into the shade Tiger Lily. I'm going in with a packing brush. This is one of the shades that is not recommended for the eye area because of it being a pigment, but obviously I'm still placing it on my lid. I'm using a brush just to kind of lay it down, but I am also going to go in with my finger just to kind of intensify it. I really did the whole brush thing to just kind of lay the outline down. Now it's time to go in with the shade Peony with just another packing brush. This is going to go in the middle to kind of give a little bit of an ombre effect. This is a very vivid shade. Next up, going back in with Tiger Lily. This is just to kind of replace what I went a little ham on for Peony. So just kind of laying that back down so you can see the differentiation. And now going in with the shade Escape because this is going to deepen up the look, make it a little bit more smoky. And just laying this on the outer portion as well, but still allowing that BFF to peek through on the back end. Going back in with BFF, and we're going to lay this again on that very outer portion because I just want it to peek out a little bit so you can see the differences, like the gradient effect. Next, I'm going back in with the shade Peony and a pencil brush. And this is going to go on the lower lash line, all over the lower lash line actually. And just connecting it up to the outer portion of the lid. Now it's time to go in with the shade Glow Up and just a small detail brush, and this is going to be our inner corner. Next, I'm using the Kaja Wink Stamp Liner. I love this thing. It has made wing liner so much easier for me. Just lay down my template and go in with the liner. I'll be right back. And my lashes and mascara are done. I've always wanted to do that, and now I can say I have with the whole hands thing. All right, so going in with my Marc Jacobs, I can't remember, I think it's called Glam Jam liner, and just placing this in the waterline just to add a little bit more drama. And that's the finished look, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it easy to follow, helpful. I hope it helped, encourage you one way or the other as far as, if this shade range is right for you. But at this time, it's time to go into final thoughts of this palette. So starting off with packaging, I've already told you I love the packaging. This is probably one of my favorites of her packaging. It's very bright, it's very vivid, and it's just very pleasing on the eye. So going into the shade range, I think there is a really, really fantastic array of different shades of coral. So if you watched my review of the Natasha Denona Coral palette, honestly, this is what I expected as far as kind of like shade range. Now granted, that's a 5-pan palette. This is an 18-pan palette, but honestly, that one just surprised me with how little coral there was for it being a coral palette. This has a whole slew of different shades of coral so that you can really vary it up while still staying in the coral theme, which is nice. I love the ratio of mattes to like metallics. It's almost half and half, and I'm totally good with that. I think there is I like that there's 10 mattes because it gives you more to work with when it comes to like deepening up and doing ombre effects and stuff like that while still making your metallic shade your standout shade. So that was an awesome thing for me. As far as the mattes, let's start with those. They blend really, really nicely. Honestly, I found them to be very consistent with all her previous palettes. I really don't have issues with her mattes. I can't remember. There was one palette I wasn't super crazy about. I don't even remember which one it was. But if I were to base this off of the last 2 releases that she's done, which was the Best Life palette and then the Sugar Crystals palette, this is very in line with those. It's very easy to blend, easy to work with, and they build up really, really nicely. I have had absolutely no issues whatsoever, and I would even dare say that most of these, when I swatched them for you, they were very opaque and pigmented, not patchy. They don't look like they drag. There were a couple that looked like that, but for the most part, I mean, very, very opaque, and that translated onto the eye. I didn't see any differences there, so very, very pleased with the mattes. As far as the metallics, they are everything I would expect in a metallic shade. You guys know, again, if you have seen my reviews of her past 2 palettes, I love those because there is such an intensity for the metallic and the foil shades. I typically use my fingers for foil and metallic shades. It's the best way to go with a quick and easy application and build it up way faster than you ever could with a brush. In fact, I do find most of the time with these types of metallics, they're very creamy. It almost feels like a cream, even though it is a powder formula, but it feels very, very creamy, a little bit almost like a thicker consistency. And so I don't know that I'd ever get the result with a brush as I do with my finger. As you saw in the demo for Tiger Lily, I started out with a brush because I wanted to kind of lay the groundwork, because I was kind of hoping for like a cut crease type look without having to lay down the concealer. So I wanted to start with the brush so that I could lay that down and then go over top of it with my fingers so that I could really build up that intensity. These metallics are so, so good, and honestly, like Glow Up, you could even use it as a highlight. It is so intense and so pretty. They stand out. This is what I would... Obviously, I'm dazzled by it, by the way. This is what I would envision with a coral palette. And again, this is what I had hoped for with the Natasha Denona and didn't get it with that, but this is absolutely what I was hoping for with a coral palette. When I placed the order for this palette, I thought, man, I hope it's really what I'm thinking that it's going to be. I hope it's really what I see in the stock photos and the promo photos. And it was exactly what I had hoped for, just as far as pigmentation, quality, what I love in a coral palette. And I'll also tell you, if you have kind of like green or hazel eyes, these types of shades will make your eye color pop. They are just really fun to work with. I will tell you that I envision this more as a summer palette, and I know we're kind of on the tail end of summer, but quite frankly, there is enough here for you to be able to transition this palette into fall because of the browns. There's some deeper shades that you really could work with. The reds you could work with, so it's not like you're gonna put this palette away for this, you know, once summer's over and move on to other things. You really could transition this into fall. Like, you could use it until a good ways into fall, until you want to go into your holiday makeup, your Halloween makeup, whatever the case may be. This really just was such a standout product for me, and for $42 I think it is well worth the price. The Natasha Denona was $45, so for $3 less you get, what is it, 12 or 450, you get 13 shades more than you do in the Natasha Denona. And I love Natasha Denona products, don't get me wrong. That particular one just threw me because I'm like, it's a coral palette and there's not a whole lot of coral. This is a coral palette and there is a whole lot of coral. It's amazing. I really have nothing bad to say about it. No negative anything, because every single time has worked so great. So I say, if you are in the market for one of these types of palettes, if you're just wanting to try Violet Voss and you love bright shades, this is the one for you. Also, with these kinds of bright shades, like let's just say for example Peony, these more neon shades, I find typically I have to go in with NYX Milk Crayon, like to basically lay a nice stark white foundation so that I can get these colors to pop. The only palettes that I haven't had to do that with are the Huda Neon and this one right here. I don't have to lay that down to be able to get the neon intensity that I want out of the eyeshadow, and I think that's awesome. It eliminates a step, and it just shows that these really are as intense as they appear in the pan. So definitely dazzle by it. I highly, highly recommend it, and for the price, I don't think it can be beat. Alright my friends, I hope you found this video helpful, educational, even just entertaining to watch, I don't know. So I hope you'll consider giving it a thumbs up. That really, really does help me out. I know I've been saying that every video, but when I get a lot of thumbs up, I see the difference so much in subscriber count and just view count, and it really does help me, and it only takes a quick second. I also hope that if you are new to my channel that you would consider subscribing. We're about to go into holiday makeup, you guys, and I am so excited, and I'd love for you to be a part of all of that, all of the reviews, all of the excitement. I love to share that excitement with other people and just kind of interact with you guys. What are you guys gonna buy and that kind of thing, so stay tuned for that because we're about to hit it hard with all the holiday makeup. But I would really appreciate and love if you would subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of this YouTube family. It truly would be an honor for me. So at this point in time, I'm going to give you guys a quick verse of the day just to encourage you. If you don't want to listen or if you don't feel like it, feel free to click off right now. I completely understand. It's not ever in an effort to force anything down your throat. It's just in an effort to help encourage you in a very chaotic world and to tell you that Jesus loves you so very much. So today's comes from Proverbs 16:9, and it says, "In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps." Alright guys, I hope you're having a most wonderful day. I hope you're staying cool in this very hot summer. It has been 100 degrees plus where we're at every single day, and I'm so ready for fall. So I hope you're staying cool, and I hope again that you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys, take care.